Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Chodesh Tov. This is such a lovely gathering. It's really nice to see everybody here in honor of Rosh Chodesh. I think this would be lovely to continue throughout the rest of the year. Be'ezrat Hashem bli neder. And I wanted to just share with you a quick thought on the parasha, actually Parashat Noach. And we start with the statement of Chazal. You look at Rashi in the beginning of the parasha, it says, Ele toldot Noach, these are the offspring of Noach. Noach ish tzaddik, Noach was a righteous man. Tamim haya bedorotav. He was complete in his generations. The question is, what do you mean his generations? He was a man that was tzaddik, he was holy, he was a righteous man, complete. Why does it have to add in his generations? So Rashi brings two explanations. The first explanation, Rashi says, is that it's comparing Noach to his generation. Yesh dorshim oto lishvach, yesh dorshim oto lignai. Some say it's a good thing, some say it's a bad thing. What does that mean? Some say, look, he's in a generation of lowlives. People are stealing, they're cheating, they're doing all kinds of immoral acts. Next to his generation, he was something very special. Doesn't mean he was really all that. But comparing him to the rest of the people, he was something that was really, really special. But in reality, if you were to put him next to Avraham Avinu, for example, not even close. It wouldn't even come close. Okay? The other explanation is, no, if he was even this good in his generation, right, then how much more so if he would be with Tzaddikim? You put this guy, together with an Avraham, he would even skyrocket. If with these people all around him, he was that good. Can you imagine if he would have been with Tzaddikim? So, two different approaches to how to interpret the word bedorotav. The question is, those that are criticizing Noah, what is it that they're saying? What are they comparing him to? So there's a hint in what they said. They said, look, if he would have been next to Avraham, he would be nothing. What's the comparison between Noach and Avraham? So I think the Mefarshim say a very interesting thing. They say Noach was commanded to build the Teva 120 years before the flood. 120 years. The man's been working on this thing. Now, why so long? What's the purpose in that? The answer is Hashem wants people to see him building this massive structure. And Hashem wants them to ask, what are you doing? And Noach is supposed to say, I'm building a teva. They're going to say, why? And he's going to say, because there's going to be a flood. And they're going to say, why is there a flood? And he's going to say, because there's stealing and there's immorality and there's all kinds of things. And Hashem wants to get rid of all of you. And that way, there's supposed to be a conversation, and hopefully the people will turn around and make themselves better, and there will be no need for a flood. But Noach didn't have that actually happen. In other words, he's building it, but his being proactive, going out to his generation and trying to convince them that there's a problem here and there's an issue and you guys are doing things wrong, that's not happening. There's a message here to Noach. Noach, build a teva, 120 years. In other words, get your people on board with you and make sure that things change so that there should be no flood. And he's not doing it. He's building his teva, and it's me and my family, and hopefully we'll survive, and that's it. It's not going out to everybody, and so that is the comparison to Avraham Avinu. If he would have been next to Avraham Avinu was the exact opposite. He goes out, he brings people, he tries to make sure that everybody's coming in. He wants to teach people about Hashem. He wants to get them to stop worshiping idols. He's so proactive about spreading the message of Hashem to the world. So the Mefarshim are trying to point out there's a difference between Noach and Avraham in how they do what they do. It's true, Noach was tzaddik, he was tamim, he was everything that we could ask for. But next to Avraham, there's a big difference. The difference being that he's not doing what Avraham did. He's not going out, he's not trying to bring people in to stop the flood from even happening. So that's a problem. Now, if we can get a little Kabbalistic, so they say, the Chida brings this down, that Noach had to do a tikkun for this. He had to fix his neshama for this issue. So who did he come back as? He came back as Moshe Rabbeinu. So where did he finally fix this? So the Jewish people just received the Torah, and they At Mount Sinai, which is considered to be the chuppah, where Hashem and Am Yisrael got married, so to say, at Har Sinai, Moshe Rabbeinu has to defend the Jewish people. Why? Because at the very place of the chuppah, they commit the sin of the golden calf, which is very similar to a bride committing an act of infidelity at her chuppah while she's marrying the chatan. It's very hard to understand that. So Hashem says, Moshe Rabbeinu, look, you are here. You are a descendant of Avraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. I'm done with these people. I can fulfill my promise to the forefathers by making a new nation from you. Let's get rid of all of them, and I will take you, and you'll be the leader of the nation. And that's it. No more of these people. Look at what they're doing. They don't get it. So Moshe Rabbeinu now has to defend Am Yisrael. So there are two ways. There's a flood about to happen. There's a flood about to take place. And you can either say, okay, I hope I survive, like Noach did, or you can fix that and say, you know what? No. Now I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to make sure that I protect my entire nation. So what does Moshe Rabbeinu say? He says, listen, either you save this people, ve'im ayin, and if not, mechenina misifrecha asher katafta. Erase me, please, from the book that you have written. Meaning, I don't want any part of it. I don't want to be a nation. I don't want to erase me together with them. Now pay careful attention. Says Maran Achida, mechenina, erase me, please, is the same letters as, if you unscramble the words, me, Noach, ani. I come from Noach. Meaning, I'm a descendant of Noach. What's the pshat? Because at this moment, while I'm telling you to erase me, that's how I'm fixing the chet that Noach did. Noach was held responsible for not going out to be active to save his generation. At this moment where I'm trying to save myself, but I'm not just trying to save myself, I'm trying to save the entire people, I'm fixing what Noach did wrong. So he's doing a tikkun for that. Now, it goes back even further. The Ari Kadosh says that the Gilgul of Moshe Rabbeinu was actually before Noach, another person.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, somebody else. Very interesting. And this is a new chidush me this year that I saw. Who was his original Gilgul? Hevel.
Oh.
He was Hevel. Okay? He was Hevel. So there's a big question. Every year you wonder, you read Bereshit. It was very unfair this year that we had Thursday and Friday for Bereshit, and that was it. It was not too long massive parsha. Anyway, so he was the neshama of Hevel. There's a very basic question, which is, why did Hevel deserve to die? The first pair of brothers, Cain and Hevel. We know that Hashem doesn't let anything happen unless there's a decree up there that it should happen. Here's this guy. He brings a nice korban to Hashem. He brings the fat of his sheep. He brings the best wool that he can bring. And he offers it up to Hashem. Hashem loves it. And then Cain gets jealous of him and he kills him. Question, why did he deserve to die? Why did he deserve to die? What did he do? All he did was try to serve Hashem. His brother got jealous and killed him. Where's the issue here? So I saw a beautiful pshat this year for the first time. And I saw it from Reb David Engel, very interesting. He says the following idea. He says, if you look in the Nefesh HaChaim, Reb Chaim Volozhiner writes that our job in this world, all of us, is to do for others, to try and help other people. We need to not always think about ourselves, but rather to think of how we can do for others. He says that's our mission in life. Very interesting, Reb Chaim Volozhiner. He says Hevel had that opportunity with Cain. Hevel understood what he's supposed to bring. He understood he's supposed to bring the best of the best to Hashem. You bring the best. You don't bring the worst. A lot of times people have the opposite attitude. The shul, why does the shul need to look nice? Why does the shul have to have this? Let it have the junkie, whatever. You know, I once was in Yerushalayim, and I was going to a Brit Milah, and I pulled up to the shul over there, and Rav Chaim Pinchas Scheinberg was the sandak. I don't know if you guys heard of Rav Scheinberg. Rav Scheinberg used to wear about 50 to 60 pairs of tzitzit on himself every day. It was a tremendous Rosh Hashiva. He used to have like a quarterback style, like a football style. Very, very, very skinny, old, frail man. He died over, I think, over 100 years old. There's a video on YouTube of Chacham Ovadia Yosef alav shalom, who greeted him in his home. And when he saw Rav Sheinberg, he started crying. And he said, "There's no tzaddik like you. There's nobody who learned as much Torah as you from Rav Ovadia alav shalom." Rav Sheinberg was a huge tzaddik. Anyway, so I was by this Brit Milah, and the walkway to the shul was pebbles. It wasn't like done nicely. So he was American, actually, Rav Sheinberg, and he said, where are the balabatim? Where are the people here? Why are they leaving the shul looking like this? He was very upset that the walkway into the shul was pebbles. It should be nice. Shul, for the house of Hashem, it should be, if my house looks like this, then what? Hashem's house should look less than that? Right? That's not, a lot of people think the wrong way. Anyway, so Hevel understood that. And he brought his best korban for Hashem. Cain, on the other hand, brought not such a good korban. And Hashem didn't accept it. And Hashem saw that Cain was down, and he said, listen, do better. What are you sad about? Just, make yourself better, and everything will be good. Hevel, at that moment, had an opportunity to do for his brother Cain. He had the moment of opportunity to say, hey, Cain, relax. It's okay. Don't worry. Sometimes things happen. You can do better. You will do better. You will succeed. A good word, a word of encouragement, a word of chizuk to help his brother. And he failed to do so. Now the string of all the themes is together. It's the same neshama. It's Hevel who didn't do for his brother. It's Noach who didn't do for his people. Being all fixed by who? Moshe, the same neshama who saves his people. Wow. It's an amazing thing how the theme is all there. So Hevel didn't do for his brother. And so what do you mean? Death penalty for that? The answer is yes, because if this is why we are here, if this was his whole mission, not just to serve Hashem, but also to serve Hashem by helping his brother and encouraging and lifting up his brother to reach the level that he could reach and be all that he could be, and he failed to do so, so Hashem says, you missed your point. It's like would we send troops to a country to wage war if they're going to just sit there and play cards all day? Would we send astronauts to the moon if they're going to sit there and play poker on the moon? They had a job to do that, to go around with their car and take pictures and video, take rocks. They had a mission. Would we send them in the first place if we knew they're going to mess around and mess up on their mission? We would never do that. So the whole point is you had a mission, Hevel. You had to help your brother out when he needed you, and you didn't. So therefore Hashem says, okay, that's the end. And by the way, Rabotai, it's very important to understand that when we fulfill our mission, Hashem has reason to keep us going. Because look, the guy's doing what he's supposed to do. You know the story of Navot, Kerem Navot? No?
I heard of it.
Okay. So I just tell this to you very briefly, and we'll call it a day. Story of Navot ha-Israeli. This fellow, this is in the time. If you look in the book of Kings, this comes up. Navot had a vineyard, an ancestral vineyard from his family. Navot had a beautiful vineyard. King Achav was a very wicked king, and he desired the vineyard of Navot. He went over to Navot. He said, hey, sell it to me. Navot said, it's not for sale. So King Achav said, no, I'll pay you top dollar. He says, no, it's not for sale. It's an ancestral heritage. I'm not selling it. So Achav said, okay, what could I do? He went back home. He was very down and out. Izebel, his wife, was aware of the fact that he was sad. She asked him, why are you so sad? And he said, because this vineyard Navot has, I really want it, and he's not selling it to me. She said, that's what's getting you upset? No problem, I'll take care of it. She hired false witnesses to say that Navot is rebelling against the king, and that way they convicted him of rebellion. They killed him, executed him, and then Navot took over the vineyard Achav took over the vineyard of Navot. That's the story of Kerem Navot. That's when Eliyahu Navi came and said the famous line to King Achav, Haratzachta vegam yerashta. Did you kill, murder, and then inherit the guy? Right? That doesn't work like that, right? So it's a very tragic story. Question is, why did Navot deserve to die? Why did Navot deserve to die? Well, what did he do? He was a very good man. So the Midrash says something very interesting. Midrash says that Navot was a wonderful chazan. He had a beautiful voice. And on the three festivals, when everybody went up to Yerushalayim to Bet HaMikdash, so Navot would be the chazan that everybody would come to listen to. He would pray to Hashem, and he had a beautiful, melodious, sweet voice. One year, he said, you know what? Not interested. How much can you sing already? Right? So he said, I'm not interested. I don't want to do it anymore. So at that point, Navot sealed his fate. Because the whole reason Hashem sent him into this world to begin with was to be that chazan for the people, to uplift the people spiritually when they would come to Yerushalayim for the three festivals. If he says to Hashem, okay, Hashem, I'm pushing back on my mission. I don't want to do my mission anymore. So Hashem says, okay, if you don't want to do it anymore, so then you won't be given the opportunity to do it anymore. That's it. And King Achav sets the way for the rest of his life, for his fate. It's a very strong point. We have to realize each and every one of us has a mission that we have to accomplish. And only you can figure out what that mission is. For Moshe Rabbeinu, for Noach, for Hevel, there was a mission of helping others. And by the way, that's what I said before, the Nefesh HaChaim says that each and every one of us is here in order to help others. We are very much into ourselves, into our own lives, very apathetic. That's a problem with our generation. We don't really care much about what happens with this guy and that guy. As long as I'm good, me, myself, and I, that's it. That's all I care about. And that is something that we all need to work on, myself included, to not be so much involved in ourselves, but to also be caring about what happens with other people. Sometimes it comes up with tzedakah, with actually physically taking money out of your pocket and giving it to somebody or to an organization. That's big. Sometimes it doesn't need to be with money. Sometimes it could be with a phone call, a listening ear. I heard so-and-so is going through a hard time. I pick up the phone, I call her, I say, hey, how are you doing? What's going on? Everything okay? And you listen to her, and she needs a friend to talk to. That's huge. That's also a form of tzedakah. It's tzedakah with your time. That's also something very important. Sometimes people, that's all they need. They just need someone to talk to. Sometimes a bouquet of flowers to cheer somebody up. A nice, I don't know, what do you guys like to eat? Bachsh? Right? Maybe send over a bachsh or a gourmet sabzi or whatever. Gondi. A little something, to cheer the person up. It's something that says to the person, I'm thinking about you. I care about you. I have so many stories. I have endless amounts of stories in the opposite direction, unfortunately. Very sad when somebody feels that nobody cares about him and nobody wants to listen. Should I tell you or no? What do you think? What?
I'll be sad.
Okay, so I'll tell it to you and then we'll end with something happy. There's a fellow that lives in Queens. He's in his 70s at this point. He said over the following story. I'm very good friends with his son. His son told me the story. This guy calls him up while he's doing his books for his business. He's, checking off all the different things, what he bought, what he sold, this and that. He's involved. He's like heavy in his calculations for his bookkeeping. And this guy calls him on the phone and he says to him, listen, I got to talk to you. He says, I hear, no problem. Can we talk in the morning? I'm busy right now. He says, no, I need to talk to you now. He says, you don't understand. I can't right now because I'm in the middle of these calculations for my business and I can't lose track. I can't lose focus. Can we talk later? Maybe later tonight. He's like, no, you don't understand. I got to talk to you right now. He says, listen, you don't understand. I'm right now really busy and I can't deal with this right now. I promise you, I'll call you later. Anyway, he hangs up the phone. I don't want to say it. Following morning, the guy was dead. Committed suicide. Yeah. True story. True story about that. True story. Just a hello, hi, how are you? The guy said he never forgave himself for it. He never forgave himself for this ever. Because the guy was reaching out for help. He was trying to talk to somebody he thought would help him. He already was at the point where he thought that nobody cares about him. And now it's confirmed nobody really cares about you. Hashem Yishmor. Hashem Yishmor. We should never know. So, Rabotai, we have to be aware. I'm only mentioning this because think of it this way. Okay, so I have a good one for you now. You ready? Now I have a good one for you. I'm going to make you happy. This is Rabbi Peit Lachron's story that's going to put a smile on your face from ear to ear. Okay? Because it's the opposite of this. This was a slaughterhouse in France. Okay? A slaughterhouse in France. It's amazing. This is amazing. This is a slaughterhouse in France. Okay? Where this fellow, he was a shochet. He would work there. And every day he would come in, he would leave, everything is good. One day everybody leaves, and the security guard says to the people, hey, wait a second. There's somebody's still inside the building. They said, no, nobody's inside the building. We just checked, nobody's there. He said, I'm telling you, somebody is inside the building. They said, no one's in the building. He says, go back and look everywhere. Find this person. And they were so stunned by this guy's persistence that he needs to go and they need to go and find this person. They go back inside. They open up the freezers that they have there with all the meat. And sure enough, one of the shochtim was stuck in the freezer. And he was locked in. Okay? He was locked in the freezer. And he was about to die. And they saw him, they took him, they saved him. They asked the security guard, how on earth did you know that this guy, what, did you see him on the cameras walking in? It was like, what did you know? What tipped you off about this? He says, excuse me, every day this guy tells me good morning, and when he leaves, he says good night. Every day. He's the only guy that looks at me and says hello to me and goodbye to me. And he told me good morning, and he did not tell me good night. Every day I wait for this good morning, and I wait for his good night. Every day, because he cares about me. So here's a person that you show that you care about this person. You show that he means something to you. He's not just air to you. He's not just another number in your phone. You actually have something to do with him, even if it's as small as a good morning, a good night, and that saved his life. Amazing thing. You heard the story. Story. Amazing story. So Abutai, let's Lineder. They say that Cheshvan is Mar Cheshvan because there are no holidays. We just had so many holidays. It's like a bitter month because there's nothing in the month. There's no Hanukkah yet. There's no Yom Kippur. It's like empty. So who fills it up, Abutai? It's our job to fill it up. Fill it up with mitzvot. Fill it up with chesed. Fill it up with tzedakah. Fill it up with maasim tovim. Fill it up with homework with the kids, Be'ezrat Hashem. That you sit down and do the that's big. That's big. That's also tzedakah. Who's supposed to do it if not the parents, Abutai? To sit down and work with them and make you on top of them. This is what it is. This is what it is. And Be'ezrat Hashem will be filled up with maasim tovim, and we should all be blessed with a good month. Chazakim Bukhir. Thanks for having me, guys. Thank you very much.